How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
All right, everybody, what's going on? And welcome in to Trade Targets Week 7, wide receiver trade targets. This is 14 Personnel, and I am your host, Justin Wright. And I am joined by my co-host, Marco Enriquez.
What's going on?
This is the second time. I butchered the intro, so we're just redoing this. We're running it back.
Here we go. Second time's the charm.
Let's just do it, man. All right, we got some wide receivers to trade for, some to trade away. First on the list is DJ Moore. Currently, he is someone we're trading for. He is a trade target. He is, again, averaging 18 points a game, averaging.
So he's a little bit of a difficult trade for, but
right. However, coming off of 2 down games,
yeah,
the average fantasy player is going to see, oh man, maybe it was a flash in the pan. Darnold struggled. DJ Moore struggled. Maybe Darnold isn't that guy.
And with the coach, Matt Rule coming out saying we got to start establishing the run more. I'm not going to trust Darnold as much. That could be an opportunity for you.
Exactly. And the thing is, I don't care. I just don't. He saw 13 targets this week. The production wasn't there, but the volume hasn't gone anywhere. The underlying numbers are still as solid as ever.
And he looks filthy wearing that number 2.
It's
sick.
Yeah, he looks so damn good, man. But I mean, right now, DJ Moore is seeing over 10 targets a game still.
Yep.
He's, pushing to lead the NFL in targets almost.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just going to be great. And the next 2, this is the only buy window you have. This is it. Because he gets the Giants and the Falcons. He's going to torch both of them.
Yeah. He should just wreak havoc. The rest of the way, he doesn't have a ton of matchups that I'm overly worried about, even if Darnold is a little bit, not the guy that we saw, which he isn't. He's not rushing for 15 touchdowns this season. So I think really what's going to happen is Darnold's going to come back down to earth a little bit, but DJ Moore is going to still be the optimal target. Christian McCaffrey's out for at minimum 3 weeks. I think he could miss a little bit more than that because they just put him on IR. So DJ Moore is the guy I'm buying. Hopefully someone is selling in your league because if they are, capitalize right now.
Absolutely. So, guys are looking to trade for him. And again, if you're a running back needy team, you obviously can't make these deals. Do not trade away running backs for DJ Moore. But if you somehow have depth, would you trade Josh Jacobs and say, I don't know, Jacoby Myers? He's someone I've mentioned a lot recently, but Josh Jacobs and Jacoby Myers for DJ Moore.
Yeah, honestly, I would. If you watched our running back video at all, we talked about this. If you're a team that's got 2 wins or 2 losses or less, go ahead and trade Josh Jacobs because the playoff schedule is absolutely brutal for Josh Jacobs. He's a little bit, consistently inefficient. That's Josh Jacobs. And Kenyon Drake is getting more involved than we'd like. So go ahead and try to package these guys because Jacoby Myers, like you said, or you said Myers, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, Myers isn't getting into the end zone. He's not scoring touchdowns, which is infuriating, but go ahead and sell these guys, package them for a guy who is getting targets and he's getting touchdowns, which a lot of people weren't sure about in DJ Moore. So go ahead and do that.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. That's a smash trade. And then this one is interesting because it's a late bloomer, I guess you want to call it. Leonard Fournette or
I thought you were going to say
Moore.
Justin.
Yeah, yes, dude. Leonard Fournette or DJ Moore.
I'm trading Leonard Fournette for DJ Moore. I think honestly, as insane as it is, Leonard Fournette's resurgence, I think it's a real thing. I think he's going to be around. I don't think he's a 30-point guy, but I think he's a rock-solid RB2 with upside depending on what this offense does if they get far ahead early. They're using him in the passing game, which is the weirdest thing in the world, but it's great for Leonard Fournette. That being said, I think DJ Moore is the PPR guy you want. He's going to see, like we said, tons of targets, and I like him going forward and more consistently than I like Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I'm not a Leonard Fournette guy. He has admittedly been great. Check out last week's, breakout or fake out video. He's here to stay. But I just think the ceiling DJ Moore has, again, if you have running back depth to give, I would give it for someone like DJ Moore.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, number 2 on the list here. And this is a guy we're looking to trade away. And it is Odell Beckham Jr., a man I want nowhere near my fantasy rosters. And the thing is, I don't have him on a single roster because we've talked about this all year. Yeah. But find the one guy or girl in your league that is like, man, Odell Beckham Jr., just wait till they figure it out and you trade him to them. You trade him to them right now.
Yeah. It sucks to see Odell not be Odell anymore. It really does. And it's been a long time, but man, I was just hoping that something would happen. I didn't think we would see like peak Odell, but I thought we'd see something, and we really haven't seen it outside of like 1 week. And Baker's banged up as it is. I would trade Odell for, I don't know if you could find much I wouldn't trade him for at this point, and it just sucks.
I mean, so I wrote down 2 names here. One would be Michael Carter, who has not necessarily been great for fantasy, but he's trending in the right direction at least. Like he honestly could outscore OBJ the rest of the season.
Yeah, he could. I mean, he's got a nice schedule coming up. Honestly, for the rest of the way, most of his schedule is pretty good. He's got a couple weeks that are not exciting, but they're kind of equal, which is insane to say, but they're kind of equal. I think Michael Carter being a running back has a little bit more value, and just the upside. He could do more than Odell by the end of the year, like you said.
Yeah, I'm doing that one all day long. And then the second one here I think is interesting. I wrote down anyone. Like just anyone at all, man.
So if you're saying anyone, I'm going to bring this up, and I think it might be a little controversial. I would trade for I would trade him for one or either of these Baltimore wide receivers, which is insane to say out loud. Like you don't think that you want two pass catchers that aren't, Mark Andrews from the Baltimore Ravens.
I would trade for
Devin. I would trade for Rashad Bateman or Hollywood Brown. I would. I would trade him for either one.
Yeah, no, so would I. I don't want any part of OBJ. Cut him. I don't give a shit. Like, just get rid of him. Like, just do something.
I don't think you can cut him because of his name value. But
do not cut him. Let me just don't cut OBJ, but like maybe cut him. All right,
comments just blowing you up later.
It's gonna suck. He scores 1 touch, I'm gonna get roasted.
Exactly.
All right, number 3 on our list here, a guy to target and trade for is Jerry Jeudy, and
the points per game is so deceiving.
I mean, he 13.2 in the first half of the first game.
Right.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
He's basically averaging 26.4 a game if you extrapolate it out. But
don't do that. Don't extrapolate.
No, but Jerry Jeudy, here's the thing. He's going to miss a couple of weeks. If you're a losing team and you're under 500, this section is not for you. But if you're winning and you're 4-2 or better, Jerry Jeudy is a guy to look at because the schedule isn't fantastic, but it's not anything you look at and say, man, I need to avoid it. And on top of that, we saw the connection him and Teddy had immediately. And Cortland Sutton's going to take targets, but Jerry Jeudy is going to be, a back end wide receiver too, most likely. And that has a ton of value.
I think from the second Jerry Jeudy comes back, he is a lighter version of Deontay Johnson.
I hope so.
I don't think he sees 12 targets, but I think he's a lock for 8 targets a game. And he's as good, if not significantly better. I don't want to say it because we haven't seen it yet, but than Cortland Sutton. I think he could be really, really special, and he's going to be a target hog in this offense when he gets back.
No, I completely agree. So we got some names to throw out here, and this is one from our running back episode. It's the exact same trade he threw out. Jerry Jeudy or Zach Moss? Jerry
Jeudy. I'm really not even thinking about it. As long as Jerry Jeudy's coming back by week 9, which he should. Yeah. And I would totally do that. Unless Zach Moss is your running back 1 and you're just absolutely destroyed right now.
You already lost at that point.
That's true. Honestly, if Zach Moss is your RB1, then who cares who your running back is? Go get Jerry Jeudy. That's a good point.
It doesn't matter. The season's over. I'll trade Zach Moss for Jerry Jeudy. I just believe he's a guy that I think has top tier talent. And if he's fully healthy and has a breakout season like everybody was predicting, I mean, that means Jerry Jeudy has top 20 wide receiver upside. So I'll take Jerry Jeudy. The ceiling's just so much better than Zach Moss's. And
if Jerry Jeudy comes back in week 8 and he sees minimum 8 targets a game, because I think that's what he's going to get, that's 72 targets from now to the end of the season. That's great.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's not a made up number, guys. You didn't just pull that out of nowhere. The second one on our list here is this is more of a floor play. It's Chase Edmonds. And he's, again, not 100% healthy. He's been good. He's been legitimately good for fantasy, but he doesn't have the top end upside because James Conner is stealing every single goal line touch under the sun. So What are you doing? Chase Edmonds or Jerry Jeudy?
Jerry Jeudy. Chase Edmonds is okay. I mean, he's fine, but if you're a team that's got, even if you have 3 losses, you want more than fine. Like, you're still in it. If you're desperate at running back and you've got 2 wins on a season, then maybe not, because Jerry Jeudy won't be back for a few more weeks. But other than that, Jerry Jeudy's going to be better. Like, I don't think there's any way he's worse than Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's
Chase
not
Edmonds
even a
plays,
big knock on Chase Edmonds. It's just where
right.
I think Jerry Jeudy's going to be.
Yeah, this one's tough for me because it is so difficult to find consistent running back depth. Like Chase Edmonds, you can plug him in and know, when he gets healthy again.
8 to 15.
I mean, 10 to 17. Like, that is his range. He's been over 17 once this week or this year. So, I mean, that's his range. I prefer Chase Edmonds in this one just because of positional scarcity, but I don't blame anybody for going after Jerry Jeudy, potentially with a winning roster. You might even be able to get more back than Chase Edmonds or more than Jerry Jeudy, I think, just because of he's hurt right now. Like, that, if you do that,
that team's desperate.
Exactly. Like, you can find desperate teams right now. This is the time to take advantage.
Say you've got Derrick Henry and Chase Edmonds. Are you making the trade?
I don't have a third running back. Just those two.
Well, no. I'm just saying, because you've got a guy who's very reliable, consistent. Like, he's the offense in Derrick Henry. Where Chase Edmonds, you were saying he's a great floor guy. If you've already got a guy who his floor is incredible and his ceiling's the best running back in the league, Are you okay moving a guy like Chase Edmonds?
Yeah, if I got somebody like a J.D. McKissick or someone else behind him that I know I can plug in, but if I don't have anybody, then no, you got to keep Edmonds. But yeah, all right, one more on the list here. It's Tyler Lockett, and it may surprise you, but he's someone to trade for. Even coming off of that truly abysmal game against the Steelers that ended up being great for the running backs, but bad for Lockett. Russell Wilson's going to come back. This is the time. This is the definition of a buy low, because the public sentiment, they were talking about on the broadcast about how Tyler Lockett is screwed without Russell Wilson. And that's true. But man, when Russ comes back, everything's going to go back to normal, and you'll have a great wide receiver for the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think realistically, like, because how long is Russ out? Is he out for 3 more weeks or
4 to 6?
Okay, so probably four more weeks, 4 to 6 total, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so probably like 4 more weeks he's out, right? So I think Tyler Lockett, even with Geno Smith, I think Tyler Lockett, honestly, is like similar to what Chase Edmonds is as a running back right now, because he's a little bit banged up. So I think go ahead and get Tyler Lockett, because when Russ does come back, like you said, he could explode onto the scene and he could win you championships.
Yeah, that's what Tyler Lockett can do every single week. And the thing is, he's not always going to be that bad with Geno Smith. There's no way. It will get
exactly
better. So here's one, and this was not on our list, but I think it's worth mentioning. Chase Edmonds or Tyler Lockett?
Tyler Lockett.
Same. Not even close. Okay.
Yep.
Maybe it's not worth mentioning. James Conner, and we'll go back to him again, Jacoby Myers. James Conner has been good because he just keeps falling into the end zone.
Right. I don't want to keep relying on that. So I would say, Tyler Lockett.
I agree with that. Yeah. Jacoby, we've talked about him enough. Running back episode, he made his way in there too. It's the only name that just
he's around. He's around.
Just keeps coming to mind.
Right.
Last one here: Damian Harris and Jalen Waddle or Tyler Lockett.
I think that might be the toughest one that we've talked about on this episode. Maybe even on both of the trade target episodes.
I want the package. Jalen Waddle is
I'm going to take the package too. I am. Yeah.
So
it's really close, but I'm going to take it.
Jalen Waddle is a less refined Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, totally. And I think
a compliment.
And he's like the de facto pass catcher outside of, Gesicki, because everyone's injured.
No, 100%. All right, everybody. Well, there you have it. Trade targets, week 7. Go make some deals. As always, drop questions, comments, whatever you have for us. Marco and I will answer them throughout the week. That's it. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.